So, Harsha, at the beginning, you mentioned about last year's budget and how it was putting a strain on the banks, especially when it comes to borrowing money. So,
Correct.
in this budget, are they still following that same trend?
No, actually, in fact, this time it's a very much positive news for banking industry as such. In fact, if you see today, in the just 3 hours after announcing the budget, Bank Nifty has increased by close to 8%. Close to 9% increase is there in the Bank Nifty. Overall market increased by 4.5 to 4.5%, but whereas Bank Nifty increased by 8%. The significant decisions which are taken for banking industry are like, government is planning to sell off 2 public sector banks. They didn't name any public sector bank as such, but they're going to sell off the 2 public sector banks. With a positive news, the reason being public sector banks are sitting on huge NPAs, huge non-performing assets, or huge amount of borrowings which are not being collected by the public sector banks. That's one good thing if they privatize the public sector bank. The other thing which they announced is they are infusing a capital of 20,000 crores additionally into the banking sector. Though it is a very small amount, usually in the last year, though it is a very small amount, still government is considering to put 20,000 crores over there. The very, very important change in the banking sector, the banking industry, banking industry is going to see in the going forward next 1 year is creation of a bad bank. I think we would have seen this discussion across many places for the past 2 to 3 years. A bad bank is being created. What do you mean by bad bank is, it's a normal term which they're using. If any loan, for example, SBI has given a particular loan, the borrower is not repaying the loan. SBI gave 1,000 crore rupees loan. Borrower is not repaying the 1,000 crore rupees loan. Now today the problem for SBI is it has to recognize that 1,000 crores as an expenditure, or it has to write off that amount, and it'll affect all the ratios of SBI, where it cannot lend money in a courageous manner going forward. So for that particular reason, what they created is their government is planning to create something called as a bad bank. What it does is, if any loan is being defaulted, based on certain conditions, all public sector banks can sell that loan to the new company. 1,000 crore rupees loan, I'll sell it for 250 crores or 300 crores. It is off my balance sheet now. It is off my balance sheet. I'm getting rid of it. Let that bad bank deal with the borrower to collect the money. Let the SBI not bother about it. Or let any public sector bank not bother about it. It will get into a new bank. All PSBs will start getting the proper valuations. Today, if you see in the market, HDFC is smaller than SBI, but overall market capitalization is almost 3 times of SBI. Overall market capitalization of HDFC Bank is 3 times of SBI, because SBI is sitting on a huge NPA problem. Now, if all these NPAs are moved to somebody else, some other bad bank, SBI shares will increase and government can slowly exit from SBI, or a part of the shares of SBI can be sold. It's indirectly benefiting the banking business. It indirectly benefits the government to get the good valuations for the SBI banks. It indirectly pushing all the bad NPAs into one single bank. It's all overall it's a significant transformation for the banking sector as such. That is the reason Bank Nifty is crawling up like anything. A 10% crawl up in a single day is something which is usually not possible.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I can say. One more point I would like to add for banking sector. See, if you see in the recent times, in the past 1.5 years itself, Yes Bank went into the default. Almost at the edge of the default. Yes Bank went to the edge of default. At the same time, Lakshmi Vilas Bank recently went into the edge of default. During all these scenarios, people who are suffering are the small depositors. Small depositors who's deposited money into the bank, they are suffering. Because if you remember the Yes Bank scenario, the day when Yes Bank announced that, yes, we don't have money to repay, or 2 or 3 significant assets became NPS for Yes Bank, at the time, RBI involved immediately. RBI kept a restriction on withdrawals. I am a salaried employee having my account in Yes Bank, but now I am not able to withdraw my money because RBI is saying don't withdraw. RBI kept restriction on the withdrawals and all. During these scenarios, people faced a lot of problem. So for that particular reason, government came up with an amendment today. It said, even in case of default by the banks, till 5 lakh rupees, people will be allowed to withdraw. Even Yes Bank is struggling, Yes Bank is having stressed assets. Even then, we'll be able to withdraw to the extent of 5 lakhs. But anything above that, there will be restrictions as such. So that's a good move for protecting the interest of deposit holders. So that is one positive thing for the at least the depositors, if not banking sector. So that's about banking.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds really good. Some of the initiatives they've introduced over there, it certainly takes the burden, at least of regular people working regular jobs, can come back home. So moving on, since we talked about the banking sector, I also want to talk about the impact on insurance. So if Ganesha wants to cover that, or
Yeah, sure. Yes, Rana. So if you see this, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, you see a lot of difference in the health industry. Like what is given more importance is the health and also the insurance. So earlier, developing countries like India have not given much importance on the insurance. Like there's no social benefit like implementation by government at all. So like if you see the post this COVID and all, you're seeing much expenditure is being made on the health side and also towards the by the insurance companies. People are ready to take the insurance policies now more than the earlier. So this is a significant change. And one more thing towards the insurance sector, which I want to add it is like as Harsha was pointing out, in case of banking sector, 2 banks have been announced by the government towards the 2 PSBs have been announced for the disinvestment. Similarly, in this case, I can point out 2 things from the budget. One is that there is one insurance company, again, there's no name given by the government, but one insurance company which is going to the disinvestment plan. And the second thing is LIC. As we all know, like if we say insurance, if you have taken the insurance, the next name comes is LIC, Life Insurance Corporation of India. So this is a government company. Now it is going to the going for the IPO by 2022. So these are the two important things which we can take from the budget. And the third point, there's one more third point which is also more important is like FIA investment in the insurance sector is increased from 49% to 74%. This is really a good we can say targeting towards the insurance or the health sector. Because earlier the foreigners, the FIAs, we can only invest up to 49% in the Indian companies. So there is like a lot of gap in the insurance sector itself. Like even the companies in India are not coping up to the level of insurance that Indian people require. So and moreover, we are having restriction on the foreign investors. So where we are capped the investment by the foreigners by only to 49%. But post the pandemic, I think the government has woken up, and they have woken up in a very good manner, and they increased this 49% restriction to 74%. So what happened? What happens in this case? So we can see lots and lots of FIS coming and investing in India towards the building of insurance sector. So this is a very good positive note. And anyways, like there should be some kind of loss which the government has to make, because we are giving much more importance to the FIS than the DIAs. So definitely there has to be some kind of framework which the government should be coming in. Though this is a very good point, but still we have to see the framework how the government comes with and how the governments will be dealing with the FIS investment, which is increased from 49% to 75%. So with respect to this insurance sector, we can take this 3 points as the keynote from the budgets.